Welcome to the Golden Hour with me, your host, The Golden Dawn. Hello, soul family. Welcome to the Golden Hour podcast, episode 1 with me, Dawn, aka the Golden Dawn. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you're listening on iTunes, I really appreciate you listening to this on either your drive to work, while you're doing dishes, whatever it may be. I know my favorite place to listen to podcasts are while I'm driving, so maybe I'll be joining you on your morning commute. So this episode, which is, the first episode, is called Let the Pilot Do Their Job. I think you can already guess what this will be about. So I want to start you off with a quick story. This story is about the time that I was selling and buying a house. All right. So I have to give you a little bit of backstory before I can get into this whole let the pilot do their job situation. About 7-8 years ago, my husband and I bought the house we thought we were going to raise our children in for the rest of time. No, we probably didn't think that. Me and my husband have a little bit of wanderlust, so we did think that we were going to raise our children there at least till they graduated high school. But our real estate agent brought us to this neighborhood in New Jersey. I'm from Jersey, but I've never heard of this particular neighborhood, this particular township. And this township, great house. The house was just beautiful. The price was right. The neighbors at the time felt great. So we buy this house, and every year our taxes just keep going up and up and up and up. And so, we're after a while, a few years of this, we're asking around, and nobody else's taxes are going up. We think that's a little bit fishy, but whatever. So then the 2016 election happens, and, here comes Trump, and where we live is a very rural area. And all of a sudden, all of these Trump signs start popping up like all around us. But, that's not the doozy, because that happens in a lot of people's neighborhoods. The thing was, out of nowhere, all these Confederate flags started popping up in our neighborhood. Like, it was so insane, because now all of a sudden, we're telling our kids, like, for Halloween, don't go here, don't go there, don't play with your ball or jump rope here. It was really weird. So it's starting to get uncomfortable, to say the least. Yeah, like I'm the kind of person who smiles through everything, no matter like what story I'm telling. I don't know. That's like a resting smiley face. So even though I'm like telling this story and I'm like, this sucks. Like, yeah, I know my face tells lies. But anyway, so these flags start popping up. We're warning the kids, and our taxes are going up and up and up. So finally, we're just like, you know what? Like, my husband went to go fight the taxes. So many years, nothing happened. Whatever. It just seems like it's time to go. So we get to the point, we're slowly making this time to go choice. But it gets to the point where now, because the mortgage has gone up because of the taxes, we're past the point of being able to comfortably afford the mortgage. So now I'm starting to feel panic. And again, those of you who are following where I'm going, when I say the word panic, I think you already know where this story is headed. So I'm starting to panic, because in my mind, I'm like, we're only a few paychecks and payments away from not having enough money to pay this mortgage every month. Other homeowners out there, especially newer homeowners, I'm sure you know how it is when, you are going into debt by buying that washing machine that blew up, or fixing the AC, or the heater went, or all of these little things that get you spending credit, because, you don't expect it to happen. Everybody says to have like a couple $1,000s of security, but I don't really know too many people who have that few $1,000s just sitting there waiting for a security issue. So I think that more people are kind of in our boat, which is when things go wrong, you gotta do credit, right? So with that being said, We're in debt, our credit sucks, this is not going very well at all. I'm in panic mode. We have 3 kids. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm trying to be cognizant of where they go to school and where we choose to move, and hopefully there's no more Confederate flags and all of these other things I'm taking into consideration, while for me the clock is ticking on how long we can maintain this. So I start while working with our real estate agent who's working to get us another mortgage, but our credit is bad and we're having all these issues. I start thinking, let me push the needle. So that's when I start applying for this here and that there and this thing here. Well, we all know, all of us at least who have gone through this mortgaging process, that while in the middle of applying for a mortgage, the one thing you can't do is apply for every bit of credit and have every credit inquiry and all of these things. You can't do that, or else it kind of ruins the process. So when this happens and I realize that I'm ruining the process, then what do you think happens? Now here comes the rock bottom, just let it all out, cry yourself to empty while praying and begging the universe to intervene in some way. But with all of that, do you know what I'm not doing? I'm not trusting my pilot. See, this is what gets us to the big thing right now. The universe or the creator, however you want to refer to this entity, put so many safeguards out there for you to be okay. And those safeguards are always within you. So some people call it their ancestors, some people call it their tribes. I call it my spiritual team. So my spiritual team, you'll hear me refer to my spiritual team all the time, is a combination of me as my higher self, and I'll get back to maybe the difference between, there's a little conversation that I want to have out there about the higher self versus the human being that's walking the planet. But my team is my higher self. Definitely my ancestors, they're in my outer ring of a team, but my higher self is the core of my team. And then I have my family members who I've kind of met or known. Some of them have been living and I knew them when they were alive, and now they're on the other side, and that's how I know them. Others of them I feel a close connection, even though we might have just missed each other on this realm. And then I have a special teammate, which is one of my soulmates from this earth who's passed on about 15 years ago, and they've made it to my team. It took about 15 years for that relationship to lose its bittersweetness and now just be sweet. And that person, it's just an awesome thing to have somebody who knew you on that level as a human and now knows you on that level in the soul realm. So that would be my team. So instead of trusting my team, and at this time I don't even think I had the words to the vocabulary to even consider what that meant, but instead of trusting my team, I'm in this panic mode, this mode of running around and trying to push envelopes and then begging the universe for what I've already, put out there. So as a teacher, I like to use metaphors to try to bring my students' lessons around. So obviously you guys are more than likely all grown-ups on that side, so I'm not meaning this in any type of way other than just clarifying my point. But here's this analogy I came up with. So say, for instance, you want to go on a trip. So you buy a ticket to go, plane ticket. You're going to go on this amazing trip, right? When you get your ticket, nobody ever takes that ticket and they walk up to the plane, they get onto the plane with the stewardess, and then they're just like, all right, now gotta meet with the pilot, and they scoot behind the cockpit and they're just like, hey pilot, so what's running over here? How are your gas levels? What's going on? What's your air pressure? Especially when they're trained to do their job, that pilot. You are not trained to be a pilot. You bought the ticket and you asked that person who you said that you trust to get you to a place. It makes no sense for you to be behind that cockpit saying, so what do we need to do? How can I help you? What are we gonna, can I fill your gas tank? What can I do for you? That's not your job. You bought the ticket. Let the person who you've who you bought the ticket from be paid to do what they're supposed to do. Because you know what happens when you sit in that cockpit and you ask a million questions and you beg for a safe flight and you try to make sure that you've crossed all of their T's and dotted all of their I's. You know what happens? The plane doesn't take off. As simple as that. The plane doesn't take off. When you're sitting there in panic mode like I was and begging for answers and moving about and being a busybody, when I told the universe I put in my request with the universe. That's all I need to do. I bought my ticket. That's all I need to do. All I need to do is say the word, because the universe doesn't have feelings. The universe, the creator, isn't a person. We personify the creator, but that's not real. When it comes to the creator and the universe and all of that, that's an energy source. And that energy source is what is like when you plug in to the power, there's nothing on the other side of that when you plug in that you can hold. It's not a tangible thing. It's not, if it's happy, it'll give you energy, and if it's upset, it won't give you energy. When you plug it in, that's what works. So when you buy that ticket and you ask that question to the universe and you plug it in, there's nobody on the other side saying, maybe I'll grant a wish today. It doesn't work that way. The energy that you're putting out in the world with your alignment is the energy that you're getting back. That's what it is. And so just like I paid my electrical bill, so now I'm putting my plug in and everything works, I paid my spiritual bill by being in alignment and trying to live my life in alignment so that my spiritual bill is paid up, if you want to put it that way. So now when I plug on in and say, hey, universe, you know what I need. I need a place to put my babies and make a smooth transition. So instead of panic mode, I just chill back because I paid my bill through the way I live my life. The bill is already paid. And so that's the different mindset that I think that we have to shift from. The panic of being in that cockpit, asking that pilot a quadrillion questions that don't need to be asked, because when you bought the ticket, you said you trusted them. That's how that goes. When you buy the ticket, you said you trusted. So when I asked the universe for help, I just said I trusted because I bought the ticket. Do you see what we're doing there? So there are a few other things in that scenario when it comes to trusting the pilot that I think that we get caught up on. So I wrote a few of them. One is you have to stop getting in your own way with negative thoughts, old thoughts, and other people's thoughts. So when I say getting in your own way with negative thoughts, one of those negative thoughts would be, oh my goodness, especially in this home buying process that I speak of in the story to start this. But one of those negative thoughts would be, oh my goodness, me and my children are going to be out on the street. This is not going to happen. Why am I thinking that way? Like, why am I even bringing that into my head? Or am I ever going to find a place that's affordable and it's just not going to make it? I don't make enough money. I should get a second job. I should do so many things. Those thoughts are not helping you. They're not helping you manifest, because those thoughts are coming from a place of panic. They're not coming from a place of calm, trusting. When it comes to old thoughts, so one old thought that I hear all the time, and this one, I feel like this is a point of contention for a lot of people, but having a plan B, to me, is an antiquated thought. If you're in the mindset of manifesting, then you have one thought, and one thought is that you now already have the thing that you're reaching for. So in that scenario, I already had a home for my babies to live in. That was a done deal. But plan Bs make me take away the energy that I'm putting into what I already have and spreading that energy over there. So now it's not as strong. The plug isn't as strong. And after a while, if I keep feeding that plan B and feeding that plan B, which one am I going to pull towards me? Not plan A. It's not going to be, because I've made this elaborate plan B and I've lived my whole life by this plan B and making sure it was there as my safety net, quote unquote. But it's not a safety net. It's an energy zapper. You're taking it away. And then the last one was other people's thoughts. You cannot go by other people's thoughts, because their journey is their journey. Their journey is not your journey. So even if they're well-meaning, they could be your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your children. They can be 100% well-meaning, but your journey is for you. So good advice might not look the same for you. The thing that's good for you might look crazy to them, and that's okay, because that journey is for them. So you can't use their opinions on this you can't use it. And to be honest, there's so many people out there who believe that plan Bs are a good idea. And so if you're one of those people and that works for you, I can't knock it. I'm just telling you from my opinion. So, I'm glad that works for you. But I'm one of those people who I don't believe in plan Bs. I have one plan and one plan only, and I'm going to put all my eggs in a basket. That might be a reckless thing, but to me, it's an old thought to think that it's reckless. I think that that's the way it should be. So also, you have to focus your conscience in a way of no resistance. There's only one side to manifestation. So that goes back to that plan B. There's only one side. You can't think of, the what ifs, the what could be, the plan for a rainy day, the carpet could be pulled out from under me. None of those things are going to work if you're going to pull something to you. You can't go that way. You have to be in calm, patient, already there flow of energy. There can be no hostility, no tension, no anxiety in it. It has to be just, you're in line, so you're moving in line. There's nothing going against this alignment. You have to know. And those thoughts with no resistance, that's what gets it done. So when you are imagining, for me, getting that house, and I'm imagining that house in the path of least resistance, and I just see my babies in it, and I see that even if it's not exactly what I hoped it would be, it's exactly right for me. That's that path of no resistance. Now, I can tell you now, some of you might have wondered, like, how did that story end with, buying and selling a house? Well, the original goal was to buy another house, a smaller house that, had a better price range. We actually ended up moving, and for those of you who know me, there's 6 of us in my house, including my mother who lives with us. So we were a 3-generation household. 6 of us moved into an apartment building, which some of you might be cringing and clutching your pearls right now with the, how could you possibly move 6 people into a little apartment? But it was actually the best thing we could have done. First of all, our families, even though we're a larger family, we're a closer family. We're not chafed to be near each other. So that helped a lot. There was a lot more cuddle time that happened. 2, we moved to one of those cool smaller towns that, has the little quaint stores and the apartments above it. So we got to live in a cute quaint town and look down on our street and see the cute ice cream parlor or the softball parade that goes by, or the jazz festival in the park across the street. So I don't know about you, but that's a win-win, especially at the time our oldest daughter was about 12 years old. So she was able to find a way to explore safely because we just live in a miniature city. So the story ended well, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. The story I thought it was going to go as I bought another house, and that was the next move. Who would have guessed that we would be happy in this apartment? But that's because my higher self, my team, the creator, the universe, everybody knew what I needed and got me to where I needed despite what I wanted and where I thought that I was going to go. So there is that combination of, you're manifesting, but you have to allow for the beings that know better, which are your higher self. So you should trust your higher self to know better, as well as the team that's been put on earth to be with you since the day you entered the earth. So when you trust in that team, they'll get you to where you need to go, despite what you want to do with yourself. So just going back to that idea of just no resistance, it's relaxed attention that gets the job done. it's allowing the force to just flow. It's sorry, just got caught up trying to think. I had something written and it just didn't feel like the natural progression, but it's allowing things to just flow. It's the whole airplane analogy of just buying that ticket, just getting on and just getting to your destination. You don't have to make it anything deeper or more crazy than that. So give up the idea, and this is where I'm getting to with the turnkey. What can you do to make this happen? What can you do to make this a realistic way of living your own life? So one, give up the idea of grinding until you die. It's a very common phrase. A lot of people say it. A lot of people are like, the only way to get it done is no sleep till Brooklyn. That's not what anybody says, but you have to, there's no grinding until you die. When you're in alignment, there should not be grind. Grind definitely gives the notion that you are working insanely hard. It is unnecessary to work that level of hard. Please stop grinding, and please don't do it until you kill yourself. That's not very helpful. Cut out all the disparaging self-talk. That's a big one, and I feel like we are primed, especially as like Americans, to just talk disparagingly about ourselves. Do you know how many people that I hear, especially as a teacher, that I hear kids just say, I can't, I'm just stupid that way. Oh, don't mind me, I just say dumb things. Can we please stop the disparaging talk? That just adds that whole level of resistance inside yourself, because if you're talking badly about yourself, then you're also putting in that speed bump of what you can't do. So if you are quote unquote too stupid to make something happen, then you already have a mental block on how far you can go, because you feel like you are just not at the mental capacity to do it. Or you even when disparaging self-talk could be in the form of, I'm so broke, I don't have any money, I'm always a broke person, I always live this, I never have enough. All of that kind of stuff is getting in your way. You cannot manifest positivity in your life if you only believe negativity about yourself. I'm going to say that again. You can't manifest positivity in your life if you only believe negative things about yourself. I think you should chew on that one for a second. So again, just like I said before, cut out all your plan Bs. You only have one plan. Of course, when you're in talks of manifesting it, you definitely want to have in your mind that inside of that plan A, you're allowing room for the universe to do what it needs to do. Because what you might see physically, the universe might want that much more for you. That might not even be enough to do the job, but you won't know that because you're limiting that, if you're limiting your mindset with that. And believe that the universe only operates for you on the frequency in which you operate. So if you are operating under the frequency of fear and lack and what you don't have, that's what you have. You have fear and you have lack and you have what you don't have. But if you are operating under the idea that you have it all, everything comes to you so easily, nothing in life is a challenge when you're in alignment. If these are your mantras, that's the energy that you're working on. And so that's the what you're going to get back. Remember when I said the quick analogy of, if I'm paying my electric bill, but I'm paying my electric bill in positive energy and being in alignment and making sure that I'm trying to act in term for the greater good of all of the humanity. If that's the frequency that I act on a daily basis, when I plug in for manifestation, that's all I can get back. That's the only thing I could get back. But if I am feeding this energy company with all of these negative thoughts of what I can't have, what I can't do, what I don't want, and that's another thing. People imagine in their mind so hard what they don't want, but even putting that picture into the scope of it, you are feeding that to the energy company. you're feeding what you don't want. So even though that's not what you want, that's what you're saying. So when you plug in, you're going to get what you don't want back. So you have to constantly be remembering that you have to pay the energy company with these positive thoughts so that you can get them back. And you need to have fun in life and be grateful for even the smallest things. So for me, even now, and I am so grateful for this little apartment. And I don't say that in terms of, I'm supposed to say that I'm grateful for this little apartment, but I genuinely feel so grateful. Not only is the price better, so we were able to get rid of all of our debt. That was wonderful. But our kids get this experience of living in this tiny little town that they can walk all over the place and, just have that old school kid growing up experience. It's so nice to be able to just see the world as a person who I would consider myself an ambivert, where I need time to recharge. When I'm having those in the house moments, it's nice to just look outside and see life still happening without having to be a part of it. There's so many more benefits that I can talk of to having manifested this particular apartment over, where I saw myself, which was in another house right now. So my gratitude is real. It's not just put on. I'm not just repeating things that sound well for the sake of this manifestation, because it doesn't quite work the same. It is helpful if you're not quite there yet to speak out these affirmations and mantras and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. So it is helpful to say the things you're grateful for before you're at a time when you are feeling truly 100% tapped into that. But when it's real, that's when it works so much better. So it's almost like you're trickling that electrical energy is trickling in. When you're just saying the things, you're trickling them in. But when when you know it and you feel it and it's the realest thing ever, that's when you're really pushing that energy in. The universe will show you how you can use the things that you are grateful for, the things that make you happy, the things that make you tick. The universe will show you how you can use those things for the greater good of all. So it's not going to be a secret. Once you really tap in and find out the things that make you happy and the things that push you as a person, you're going to realize that it's right then where you'll see that connection between what works for you and now how you can use that to work it for the greater good. And when you serve the world with the things that you love, that's when it all cycles back and you begin to eat off the beauty of life. So when I say eat off the beauty of life, that's what I mean. The things that you love to do, the things that you're good at, the things that you're going to pass back on into the universe and the world to make it a better place, it's going to eventually give you everything that you need to make sure it feeds you and houses you and gives you the joys that you have in life. You'll have all of that material energy to be able to use once you're all the way lined up and in alignment. And so those people who, they're just like, I just do what makes me happy and the money came, and that's real life. So I know that there are several parts of my life that I'll share over time that I can see that full circle come back, and how I am doing the things that I want to do in life because I'm in alignment doing the things that the universe wants me to do in life. So hopefully that was, a clear and concise idea of, how to let the pilot or the universe do the job that the universe is supposed to do, how you can practically back off a little bit and back off all the way and trust that you are in that alignment and trust that you've paid your bill properly so that when you plug up, everything will work out nicely. But just to go back one more time, you can't force it. You can't be in that cockpit helping that pilot. Once you start doing that, the plane can't go. You have to release the job to the entities that are meant to do the job. You have to let the universe do what the universe needs to do for you. So, as I promised, I wanted to have a quick grounding meditation. So, this meditation, I do this one pretty often. This is my just getting ready for the day one. We're only going to spend a few minutes on it, just a quick bringing us back to mindfulness in the moment. So if you are driving, you can just have this, going on in your head. Please don't get too comfy and cozy. And if you're not, have a seat with me. I have my feet planted firmly on the ground. I have my palms together so that I can let that energy spread around right back through. So close your eyes with me. First, we're going to take a few cleansing breaths. Breathe in for the count of 3. Breathe out to the count of 5. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Right now, I would like you to relax your shoulders. Feel my shoulders nice and loose. Relaxing my back. I am mindful of my chakras to make sure that they are all in line right now for this quick recharge. And as we end this conversation, this meditation conversation, I'd like you all to just think about ways in which we can release some of that tight, resistant energy out with our breath and breathe in. Trust that we've brought that ticket to fly and that our plane will get there just fine. Let's just take a moment in trusting, breathing out resistance, breathing in trust. One more time. Breathing out resistance, bringing in trust. And we end this with an easy breezy. Everything that's supposed to be will be. I trust you, universe. And thank you for all that I have. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this first episode of the Golden Hour podcast as much as I enjoyed speaking with you. As you can see, it's not an hour, it's a half an hour, but it was a catchy name. And honestly, I really did think that a shorter podcast would be better if it's just me and you, and it would be quick and to the point. So yes, you have the catchy name of the Golden Hour podcast, but it's only a half an hour podcast, and I hope to keep it that way. I think that's a great amount of time. So please drop in the comments what you thought, how you felt. Please subscribe to both YouTube as well as iTunes if you loved it. I just really can't wait to have that dialogue happen between you and I, and definitely to get to address some of the other issues out there that you might be having in your lives, and how maybe you have found a way to manifest through those issues. So I can't wait to talk to you guys again. See you next Friday. Bye, guys.